Greetings, my friends. Todd Falcone here. Welcome back to another training episode. What's happening? Hope you're having an amazing day. Let's chat, shall we? Let's have a conversation about this. Like, what do you do with your brand new rep? You got a brand new person on your team. What do I do? Oh my gosh, I signed them up. Like, it's so funny. Like, it's somebody who's new and they haven't really recruited that many people, or they're recruiting their first one. They got their first person. They're like, I can rest. I got one. They're in my business. Whew. But the crazy thing is, honestly, that's where your work begins. And I think that's the first thing you need to understand is the moment that you enroll a new person onto your team as a distributor, rep, affiliate, whatever it's called in your company, that's where the real responsibility is. It's because, it's not your responsibility ever to do it for them. Let me be clear with that. Never your responsibility to do it for them. Don't you ever get yourself in a situation where you're like, I'll call your leads, I'll call your people for you. Why would they ever want to do anything if you're going to go do the work for them? Go find somebody else who's willing to do the work. And trust me, there are people that do this. They'll sign people up. They're like, yeah, give me your call. Like, why would I have any motivation to do anything if you're going to call all my people for me? I'm just going to sit back and have you build me a check. And I have some friends that are like basket cases because what they've done is they've gone out and were so good at what they did, so good at recruiting, that they were like, oh, this person's not going to recruit. Well, I'm going to build them up to silver, gold, diamond, presidential. And then they're like, that person has no motivation to do anything because you built it for me. I'm like, shoot, you built it for me. Oh, I'm missing a couple $100 in volume. You're probably going to go make it happen anyhow so you can maintain your qualification. I've seen that happen. That's ugly, okay? So question is, what do you do with a brand new rep? So you just signed in. Bam. Distributor ID numbers pumped out of the system, you're in, okay? What do you do now? One of the first things I love to do is I want to get you feeling comfy, okay? I want you to feel like you can, here's the example. Like you could come into my home and you don't have to ask to go to the fridge to go get a drink or make yourself a sandwich. Like mi casa es su casa. You're like coming in and it's like, you know that I don't care. I'm like, dude, hit the fridge. Do it. My house is your house, man. You can go do whatever you want, man. As long as you're respectful and cool, right? But, think about that. You walk into somebody's house and you're thirsty and they haven't offered you anything to drink and you end up having, can I get something to drink? Or, wouldn't you rather be in a situation where people are in your house that, hey, if you're thirsty, you know where the fridge is, you know where the glasses are, get after it. It's all yours, brother. So I think that's a great overall philosophy to create a level of comfort with that new person where they're feeling at home, right? So one of the ways to do that is I love to get them introduced to the leadership team. Like you're in, I'm going to introduce you to my sponsor. I'm going to introduce you to my sponsor. I'm going to introduce you to my sponsor, and my sponsor, I guess. Up the line of sponsorship. All the people that have a vested interest in that person succeeding. If I got new people, if I got an eager person on my team that's ready to roll, I want to know who they are. I would be great if like the downline would introduce me to, their new people, especially you got a good person in. It's like, man, this is the kind of guy or gal I've been looking for. And you put them into the business as an upline. I want to know who that person is to keep, to be able to offer my support, to be able to provide assistance where I may. So, I don't know. I just like this collaborative, upline, downline teamwork that can exist in a well-run network marketing organization. So one of the very first things that I do is I get them introduced, and they just start to feel they know you, but then they meet somebody else that's cool, and they meet this other person that's successful and cool, and they meet this other amazing person. They're like, I feel like I made a good decision. All of you have had buyer's remorse. You've bought something in your life and went, oh my goodness, should I have done that? Don't you think the same thing happens in network marketing where people come in, they're like, oh, did I make the right decision? We know that because all of us, if we've been in the game for any period of time, had somebody come in today and literally cancel tomorrow, right? I've had that happen, even by introducing people to the upline. But like literally the first thing that I'm going to do is get them plugged into the upline, all right, get them acclimated, making them feel part of the team. Okay, this is like the right away stuff. I'm not going to go into all the things that you do in your first week or first month or whatever, but that's one of the very first things I'm going to do. Number 2 is, okay, well, they're in. We need to plug them into some type of fast start training. And that word fast start, that's not long the next week start. It's let's get them plugged into the ABC 1, 2, 3s. I talked about this in a previous episode maybe a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about duplication, where you get them plugged in so they kind of have an idea of what to do. Like, oh, I'm in. Now what? Do step 1, step 2, step 3. That may be getting familiar with their back office. That may be understanding what the tools are. That may be knowing what your Facebook groups are for training or training website, or getting them plugged in and feeling comfortable, not like looking around going, I don't know what to do here. Because again, if you're wanting to create new affiliates, new reps that come in and actually do something, they need to have like an understanding of what to do and how to do it. So that's part of our onboarding process, is helping people to be comfortable. Like, okay, all right, I signed up, I got this distributor ID number, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I got this person that brought me in. They didn't just disappear and run off or point their finger and say, go make me rich, go make me some money. They introduced me to some people on the team. They plugged me into this training that was easy, simple to understand. It wasn't complex or hard for me. I got a good grip on what I should be doing and how I should be doing it. They guided me in a spot where I have all of the resources that I would need at my disposal. If I ever have a question, I know how to ask customer service or who to call for this or whatever. And we're getting them into a situation where we're beginning to teach someone how to build the business. We haven't really, this is like day 1, right? We're plugging them in, arming them with their resources, introducing them to the leadership team, plugging them into the tools and getting them familiar. And then honestly, probably one of the best things that you can do with a brand new person is get into the trenches with them now, today, this moment, this second. The clock's ticking, man. The moment they come in, like you don't see it, but pretty much every single rep that you ever sign up has a countdown timer, like that Flava Flav. I think I did a video about this about 4 months ago. They got that giant Flava Flav clock on their chest, and it's counting back in time. And when the buzzer goes off, unfortunately, we don't see when it goes off, they're going to stop and they go, bzz, and they're like, oh, well, am I where I need to be? Nope. Okay, I quit. A lot of people, if they have high expectations and they under-deliver on those expectations, which many times this happens, they end up quitting because they just didn't, they didn't meet their expectations. So I think another thing as well is sitting down with the person and like talking about expectations. I like to be honest and real with people. Let's talk about, how much time do you have to commit? You're in, okay, cool. When are you going to be working the business? How much time can you put into it? What do you want to accomplish here? How fast do you want to accomplish it? Somebody might say, I want to make 20 grand my first month and I can only work an hour. Oh, an hour all month? Well, there's a giant mismatch, so they're clearly going to be disappointed after month 1 when they didn't make 20 G's their first month working an entire hour of their life, right? But if somebody says, look, I'd like to be, I'd like this to replace my income. Okay, well, how much are you making right now in your job? I'm making 5 grand a month. Okay, cool. When would you like to replace that? Next week? No, that's not realistic. I think we can, realistically, if somebody works and they're putting the time in, enough time into the business, like if somebody said they were putting, I can put an hour a month into the business and I want to replace my $5,000 a month job in 12 months, it's not realistic. So if we sit down and we help people adjust their expectations, that's good. But again, the most important thing for me is like, okay, let's go. Who could, help them assemble an initial list, come up with and through your training, that onboarding fast start training that you're getting plugged into, they should be getting an idea of how to launch their business, how to, who are they going to be talking to? Because think about it, a brand new person, they're thinking, they may ask, most don't, okay, this business makes sense, but who do I talk to and what do I say? Right? They don't know. So that's why we have this fast start training. That's why we're plugging them into the ABCs, 1, 2, 3s. I think you might want to go back to an episode I did, I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, when I was talking about the art of, or I was talking about duplication, how to get more people to duplicate. So this is kind of along the same lines, but this is about the onboarding process of getting somebody in, getting them acclimated, getting them comfortable, getting them into action. We do not want to send them on some arduous, long training expedition where, report back to me in 2 weeks. Ideally, it's like, look, let's get you a couple customers today. Let's see if we can get your first rep in your first few days. And if you can help somebody create a check their first week, I mean, that's like ideal. It's like my objective with a new person is let's see if we can get you into a profit the first week. Now, it requires them, right? It requires them being ready, willing, and able. So if they're, avoiding, dilly-dallying, doing other stuff, they're not, they're screwing around, they keep making excuses, well, I'm going to go sponsor somebody else until you're ready, right? So they have to show through their actions. It's like it's a two-way street. You're bringing them in. You have to show your willingness to assist and guide, not to ever do it for them, but to provide them some guidance and direction. And then they've got to, show through their actions, not through their lips, that they want to do something. And if you're willing to help and they're willing to go, you've got a good combination for getting a new person started and helping them get into profit pretty quickly. But again, this conversation today is really about the first 24 hours really. It's like getting them plugged in and introduced to other people so they feel more comfortable about their decision, plugging them into your ABC 1, 2, 3 fast start, maybe having a little strategy session with them. And then, maybe even spending some time that first day reaching out to their first handful of prospects. Who are the best people? Who are the most outgoing? Who are the most successful people that you know? Who's the person that you know that's the best in sales? Who's the most financially motivated? Who's the most well-connected? I like to get a person thinking about the best, not like I'm going to talk to my broke friend and test it out on him or her first. I don't think that's a very good strategy. That's not a commitment strategy or a committed strategy. That's like, I'm not even sure what I got myself into kind of strategy. So finding out where they're at, and I just think that the more connected that you become with them that first day, that first week, and that you're showing them through your actions that you're ready and you're willing to help them, and if they match that readiness and willingness, then you've got a good recipe for getting a person started, and that likely is going to create success. And look, we all know that it requires work. If they're not willing to do the work, they're not going to get the result. So just a couple of ideas for you guys on the first few things to get going with when you sign up a brand new representative and getting them plugged in, armed up, and ready to go after it. So if you're on my YouTube channel, what's up, YouTubers? Love you guys. If you're on my podcast, listen to me on audio, driving down the road or wherever you might be, at the gym, who knows? Appreciate you as well. The rest of the story is on my website. Lots of resources there. If you haven't been there, come on over, toddfalcone.com/episode 149. Again, TODDFALCONE.com/episode 149. Have an amazing day. We'll see you next time.